Good morning, Forest Box kids. Miss Katie here for our final art lesson. This week you guys are studying different types of trees, specifically the willow, the cottonwood, and the scrub oak. So today we are going to draw them together and watercolor them in with different kinds of green that we create. Our materials this week are pencil to sketch with, our watercolors and paintbrush, a clean sheet of paper, a cup of water, and then it is always good to have paper towels around. And I love using my dropper to get the paints wet. All right, without further ado, let's go over our basic elements of design. Okay, we have, let me move some things aside. We have line, shape, form, value, space, color, and texture. Today we'll be using lines and shapes. We will not be practicing form. We do have different values with our greens. You will see some seem lighter and some seem darker. We will not be doing space necessarily, other than we are spacing them out evenly. We are using color, but not any texture today. Okay, the colors that we are going to be using today, I'm gonna move this aside, that I want you to get wet are your green, your blue, oops, dropped it there, yellow, this is gonna make our different shades of green, and then I want you to have your brown ready, okay? When we're done sketching, we will practice mixing our colors, and the colors are gonna be really fun to mix today. But let's go ahead and start with our sketching. We have 3 leaves that we are drawing today: the willow, the cottonwood, and the scrub oak. Each leaf has many lines in it, but they all have a general straight line going up through each leaf. So that's what we're going to start with. Make sure we're in shot. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to start with our willow. We're going to draw a straight line up, okay? And then on this line, we are going to draw dots, ever so often, equally spaced all the way up. And actually, I'm going to make the top of my leaf, I'm going to make the top of it right here, because we want to make sure we have room to add this tall leaf at the top. Okay, and then on each notch, each little dot, we're going to draw a small line out one way, and the next line, it goes out the other way, alternating sides. And then this one will go straight up. You'll notice on a willow leaf, each of these sections, the leaf goes out to the left and the right and the left and the right, but they do not come out from the same dot, the same section. They alternate. Okay, so our leaves are long and skinny on a willow tree. So from here, we're going to draw a long, skinny leaf. And when I'm done, I'm going to continue that line through. Okay, and I'm going to do all the ones on this side first. Long, skinny leaf. And then I'll do this side. And then at the very top, we have a leaf going straight up. And you'll notice my willow leaves are different than this one. This one has more and this one has less. So everyone is going to be different, and that is just fine. And then underneath, it is up to you if you want to write this. You don't have to, but I'm going to write the word willow for willow leaf. Okay, now the next one is our cottonwood. So we're going to start again. We're going to leave a little bit of room because this is a wider leaf. So I'm going to scooch over a bit, and I'm going to draw a straight line up again. And I'm going to try to get them to start at the same place. Okay, so from here, it's almost like a heart. at the top, okay? But the first thing we're gonna start with is this is a curved line, kind of like a frown, and we're gonna start and we're gonna make that frown, okay? And then from here, I'm gonna go to the top and I'm gonna create this tip that's pretty sharp. And then I'm gonna loop out with a real wide circle, and I still wanna make room for my scrub oak leaf. Just like that. And then here, and if it overlaps, I will go ahead and adjust my other leaf. Okay, so on this one, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change my leaf and have it go a little bit higher up. That way it doesn't interfere with the cottonwood. It is completely okay to adjust as you move through and create these leaves. Okay, so we have the basis of the skeleton of our cottonwood done. Now we're gonna go in and we're gonna start with some lines that come out from the bottom where this vertical line meets this frown. And then we're gonna go up and create different ones going outward. Just a few, okay? And then we'll notice this might be a bit of texture. It's not a smooth edge. So we're gonna go in and we're gonna zigzag on top of this line. What I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna erase this line so I can still see the faint line below it. The old line, I'll still be able to see it. If you erase two, you'll still be able to see it. And then I'm gonna go in and I'm just gonna create zigzags all around the edge, okay? And then I'm gonna do the same on this side. But I'm not gonna have zigzags at the tip, this little triangle teepee top, if you will. The scrub oak has a smooth tip up there. Okay, so here I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna create that zigzag line on top. All right, here we go. We have the cottonwood done, and it's up to you, but I'm gonna write cottonwood below. Feel free to pause and take your time copying that word if you would like to. Okay, the next we have is our scrub oak. This reminds me of kind of like moose antlers. These are really, really fun to see in the fall. So again, we're gonna start with a straight line. It's gonna start about the same, at the same base, and we're gonna go up. And then here we're just gonna make squiggles on one side and we're gonna try to match it on the other. And I'm gonna start on this side so I make sure my edge, I can get it within the edge. I'm gonna start with a smaller one, and then a larger one, and then a much larger one, and I'm gonna go up to the top like that. And then I'm gonna go in and just copy it on each side. Just do my best to make it a symmetrical leaf. All right, looks really great. And then I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna create little lines going out. All right, and I'm gonna make sure I have a little stem there. And I'm gonna write down here, scrub oak. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is paint. We are all done except for painting, and painting is gonna be the fun part. So let me move these. Well, first I'm gonna show you, we have 3 different kinds of green that we're gonna focus on. Generally, as you go through, especially now that we're really in spring, if you walk outside, you will see so many different shades of green. There are so many different shades of green. They are not all the same. Typically, green is divided into a yellow green or a blue green, okay? So what we have a very yellow green here. This is a green mixed with yellow. We have a green, just more of our basic green here. And this is a blue green, a green mixed with blue. Now, in order to make these colors, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in and use your water. And I'm gonna move it this way. And I'm gonna start with my yellow green, okay? I've got some yellow already here, so I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna get my normal green here, and get a good puddle. We don't need a super lot because our leaves are not very large. And this yellow green is going to be our willow. Okay. And then I'm going to get some yellow in there, and this is really going to make it really bright. So we have a yellow green now, okay? Now, one thing I'm going to do to every single green we make is I'm going to add a little bit of brown to it. Most of the greens outside have a brown tint to them, even though you might not notice it. But once we add a little bit of brown and mix it in, it looks kind of muddy. But if you add this to another piece of paper, it looks like a really pretty green. It's just not as vibrant. A lot of the greens you see outside have a brown tint to them. So this is going to be our willow, and I'm going to leave that. If you want to change it up, please do, to make it something that you are very, very happy with. All right, the next we're going to do is our cottonwood, and that's just going to be kind of a plain green color, except we are going to mix in a little bit of brown to it. So in every one of our greens, we have a little bit of brown. I'm going to go in, I'm going to get a little brown, and I'm just going to mix it in. And now it might be too brown for my liking, but I actually really like that. It's actually quite green. It looks kind of muddy, but it's a beautiful green. So I'm going to keep that for the cottonwood. All right, so the last one we have is our scrub oak. This is, we're going to do our green, and I'll put this here so it doesn't run into the other one. And then we're going to mix blue into it. Blue. Make a blue-green. It's going to look kind of teal looking, and that's okay. And then to this one, we are going to go ahead and add brown. Just a little bit of brown. And let's see what that looks like. Now that looks really blue to me, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit more green. This is the fun part about mixing. This looks better. Let me see if that like that. Yes, see, I can see that. I don't know if you can see it on camera. It's a nice, this is much greener, has a less blue. So I've got my 3 colors. I have a green and yellow with some brown, just a green with some brown, and then a green and blue with some brown. And we're ready to start painting. My water is already pretty green, so I'm going to switch out for my clean water. Okay, so for our willow, this is where we're going to do our yellow green, okay? And I like to start, and this, you're going to need your paper towel because you don't want to have too much of a puddle on your paper. I like to start at the base of the leaf and then just carry it to the edge. One dip should be enough to take you to the edge of the leaf. All right, one done. Depending on how much paint you get, you might need 2 dips. It's a nice warm day today in Colorado. Very thankful. We had a very cold and rainy weekend. Not so fun to be out of doors in that weather. Unless you have your rain jacket on and your water boots for jumping in puddles. Okay. And I've just got 1 leaf left. All right, and then when I am done with this, I am going to take a light stroke on all of the stems and just follow it and create a nice line of that same green. Okay, now we're ready for our cottonwood. And I'm gonna move over to that green color we just mixed with brown. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna maybe make a big stroke here on the outside, and I'm gonna go into all the edges first. And then I'll bring it out. This is the tricky part of this leaf. And you'll just want to make sure when you're dipping, you go right back to that same color. You don't accidentally get the other colors. All right, got the edges done. Now I'm just going to go in, do this last brown, and fill it in. This is the easy part. All right. And now I'm just going to let that blend. And then the last we have is our scrub oak. And I will be using this blue green that we created. And I'm just going to start at the top and work my way down. And what's really cool is at the end you'll see the distinction between these three greens. And maybe when you go outside, you will observe how many different kinds of greens there are. And you can take this paper out with you and compare it to other leaves you see. And you can ask yourself, is this a blue green or is it a yellow green? And then we will go ahead and create a line on the stem. And I'm going to go back for my cottonwood. I did not create a stem there. I'm going to draw this line here. And we're all done. Great job, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for these art lessons this year. It has been wonderful teaching you. I hope you have enjoyed them. And I hope you have a wonderful summer. Bye.